Token Metrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com.
We are live. Welcome to the Token Metrics Monday live stream, brought to you by tokenmetrics.com. I'm your host, Bill Noble, joined by my colleague, Forrest. Forrest, how you doing?
Doing well, Bill. Just watching my portfolio melt down a little bit, but that's okay because we have some stable coins on the side, and we are going to buy some incredible dips coming up here. It's an exciting market. You know, you can't say it's not. It's whether you might feel like it's a little bit depressing, but I don't know. I start getting excited regardless when I see volatility. Right, when I see the market crashing like this, I know I'm going to be able to snag some good dips, so I get excited. Can't help it.
All right. Yes, we are here to give you some holiday cheer and some holiday shopping tips. Royal Crown Draft, Crypto Student, Waykar, Macro, Carbone, Aiken, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Now, if you need a roadmap in crypto, and you need to make money in crypto, and you need professional analysts to help you, like and subscribe to this channel. Don't miss a moment, particularly in this kind of market. All right, Forrest, I think you're going to take us through our agenda for today.
Yep. I'll do the little stream intro here. We've got Token Metrics live stream, altcoin shopping list, ETH, Avax, no pain, no gain, Token Metrics live. As you can see down here in the left-hand corner, if it looks like I was playing Candy Crush on my phone, I wasn't. I was actually going to our YouTube stream on my phone. And I was hitting the like button. First of all, I'm already subscribed, of course, but then I was sharing it out on Twitter. I recommend everybody here do the same. It's always important to bring more people into crypto, and we would, of course, appreciate it if you bring more people to this stream so we can have a bigger, better stream. If you don't already, go subscribe today at tokenmetrics.com for some amazing crypto dashboards, AI and machine learning based dashboards, as well as the best investment research in crypto. If you'd like to interact today, you can see with our stream today, you can see the Menti code at the top here, 1277480. Go to www.menti.com and use the code 1277480 to interact with the stream. So the first thing on the docket today is Bill's market update. I'm going to follow up his market update with the key support levels for buying this dip. Right? I'm going to walk through Bitcoin. I'm going to walk through Ethereum. I'm going to walk through Avax. I'm going to walk through Terra Luna. I'm going to walk through Matic. And who knows, I might walk through a couple more. We're going to do Crypto Showdown. And then we're going to do Altcoin Overtime. And then we're going to follow it up, ending with some Q&A. Now, if you'd like to participate in Crypto Showdown and the Q&A, use the Menti code. Right? The Menti code one more time. I believe it's in the link I believe it's in the description below. 1277480. Right? And before we jump in to Crypto Showdown or actually reveal it, we are going to show you our 3 picks for December. So let us know what your top altcoin pick is for the month of December. Are you trying to buy this dip in Polygon? Are you trying to pick up some cheap Terra Luna? Or are you trying to pick up Ethereum on the cheap and maybe stay a little bit more conservative, right? Maybe Ethereum seems a little bit safer than some of these other altcoins out there. Without further ado, let's jump into the market update with Bill.
All right. Thank you, Forrest. Carlin Brooks, thank you for hitting the like button. And I'm going to answer your question. Is it time to sell everything? So with that in mind, let's go through the market update. It's going to drop until you shop. Okay. Or let it drop and then you shop. Let's go. Okay. What is going on, right? That's the first question. Here's my answer. Retail traders are tax loss selling, right? DeFi 1.0, okay? Layer ones, people, institutions may be taking profits Same thing in Bitcoin. Number 3, people out there, institutions, are scared of the Fed on Wednesday. FOMC statement coming out, all this talk over the weekend. Big investment banks say massive rate hike cycle coming, no more printing press. At the end of the day, people are asking themselves, this is Tesla on the screen. How do I hedge a stock like Tesla? How do I protect myself? Well, the answer for today is I'm going to sell crypto. So retail traders are capitulating on positions that have been, bad for a while, and institutions are shorting the market. Now, this could provide great gains later, but for today and maybe the next couple days, or maybe even over a week, pain is going to be involved. So let's talk about how much pain and then how you benefit, right? Where is the shopping component? That's what we're going to get to in this stream. So don't go anywhere. Now, Galaxy Digital stock, my favorite crypto indicator. Okay, back in early December, I was like, uh-oh, it looks like the top in May. And unfortunately, it does. And it still does, right? So Galaxy Digital started falling apart around 28, and it may go as low as 18 because it was in that neighborhood back in July. So if Galaxy goes to 18, the whole rest of the market could get washed out. So today could kind of maybe be a warm-up in terms of like, okay, could it lead to one big heave lower? And if so, is that the shopping opportunity of a lifetime? Now let's talk about Bitcoin. All right. Back in April, Coinbase IPO. Legacy and crypto came together. The market proceeded to go down. We've talked about this. The market bottomed on a Gann line on a weekly chart at around 30K. In November, the Bitcoin ETF came out. Legacy and crypto interact. Over the weekend, there was a failure around 51K, below a Gann line, and the next Gann line is at 40K. Lo and behold, that's the same Gann line where the July bottom occurred. So if you were going to go shopping in Bitcoin, if 46K doesn't hold, obviously we hope it does, but if there's a panic, I would expect 40K to be a great shopping level, and I would expect 40K to hold. So yeah, that's scary. You're like, oh my God, right? But it was, oh my God, back in July, and what happened? It came screaming back. So in some ways, all this panic selling, all this, oh my God, on the Fed, because remember, on Wednesday, the Fed's going to come out and say one way or the other what they're going to do. And then when they say it, it's like, all right, that's cool. Now what? So either 46 holds or 40 holds. I'm going to let Forrest handle the levels. But if it drops, it's an opportunity because this looks like an exact repeat of the top in April and the bottom in July. Now let's talk about Bitcoin on a tactical level. So this is a 4-hour chart. So if you're watching this a month from now, this might not be relevant. But in the short term, you have to be focused on the fact that, markets that are going down, that are in bear mode, right? They hurt people. Everyone loses money. If you were bearish on Friday, you were stopped out on Saturday, you were bullish on Saturday because it looks like it was going to the moon, and then you wake up Monday morning and all the bulls are stopped out. So the bears got stopped out on Saturday and the bulls got stopped out on Monday. Everybody loses money in down markets. They're very hard to trade. It's why getting out of the way is really, at the end of the day, the only way to survive it. At this stage of the game, we're looking for sort of like a capitulation, right? So if Bitcoin's below 46K, right, after that uptick this weekend, people may lose hope and sell, and that's the opportunity that we want you to be able to take advantage of. Okay, the better picture for this is ETH. So ETH has been in this kind of, either a rectangular box or an expanding range, depending on how you draw it. I have a bunch of Gann lines at 3,900. ETH at the time of this recording is below 3,900. The next Gann support that I have is 3,400. So if there's a big panic or a flush lower, ETH may go to 3,400. It may wick below it. Who knows? I kind of personally hope it holds here and it's over. But in your mind, right? This is the most important point. In your mind, you can say, all right, okay, ETH could go to 3,400. And if they really panic, there might be a wick below that, right? And that's where I want to buy, all right? Not panic. Because I guarantee you, when it goes down to 3,400, like an analyst can sit here and go, and 3,400 is support. And you, as a person with positions, well, at 3,400, it will look like the end of the world. Okay, I'm here on video with my colleague Forrest to say, if this thing turns into kind of like a crash or a mini crash, even though it may look like the end of the world, or it looks like the end of the world right now, it's not. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. And that's the voice that you got to hear in your head at the scariest moment. So as we're recording, if this is the scariest moment, it's an opportunity. If this accelerates, you follow what I'm saying. Now, is there any evidence that this could be a huge heave lower that gives you like unbelievable discount shopping levels, right? Well, there is one chart. It's total 3. It's total crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. In other words, basically altcoin market cap. This chart shows there were 7 different weekly attempts. I've only got 4 or 5 arrows, but there were 7 different attempts on 7 different weeks to get altcoin market cap above $1 trillion. And they couldn't do it. So it's going to turn around and try to find a level below. Is it 700 billion? Maybe. Is it 500 billion? Maybe. That probably puts like DeFi 1.0 almost completely wiped out and probably puts things like Solana at 100 or below. Okay. Now, if that happens, that will be scary. Okay. This chart is probably the scariest chart I've got, but is it really scary? Right. In other words, if you missed the whole move from July to November, this could be your chance to get in. In other words, if you're like, oh yeah, I was a crypto failure in 2021, I missed it. Well, the market may be giving you the opportunity to do it again, to find a mid-December or late December bottom, thinking that there's going to be a much bigger up move in January. Now, let's talk about DeFi. This is where the pain is. This is not, let me say that again, not where you want to buy the dip. Okay, this is the DeFi perp futures contract. These are the original DeFi pioneers, the governance tokens of everything from Compound to Uniswap to even things like Chainlink. Okay, this is flat out bear market price action. Period. Right? Down, down, down. Big rally over the weekend, fails, big new low. Straight up. So DeFi futures contract is like, I don't know, roughly 9K. I think it can go to 6, right? This is all tax loss selling. DeFi 1.0 is just a sector that's fallen out of favor, that's probably overowned, that's going to get hurt. So to the extent that kind of a, dare I say it, a dead sector underscores the opportunity, right? So this is where you don't want to be. So let's try and talk about places where you do want to be. Okay, Solana broke support at 180. Okay, venture capitalists may be panicking. I did see some interesting tweets today from the guy that runs Multicoin Capital, where he basically said technology is the most important thing, and I'm not selling because of interest rates and inflation. Okay, that's good news. In terms of charts, you know, where would holiday shopping be in Solana? probably at 100, right? So, again, the whole rally that everyone missed, you may get a chance to buy all this stuff cheaper. Avalanche. Okay, Avalanche has held up relatively well. So I'm showing 73 to 76, or the whole November up move started at 60, right? Forrest probably has better levels, but I'm just trying to get you to see that if these things decline, they're declining to places where previous rallies began. It's like a do-over in schoolyard basketball. Phantom, something I thought that was going to hold, that hasn't. So support is at $1.15. Support is also at 96 cents. So this thing went from 0 or 20 cents to $3. Now it's coming off. Now, could this thing wick below $1? Yes. Could it wick below 96 cents? Yes. Okay. Are these layer ones the type of things that you want to try to pick up as a value investor? Not investment advice, but yes. Okay. Near protocol. Okay. We talked about it at 9. It went to 6. We liked it. It went to 11 on an Olympus fork on its blockchain. And now it's come back to where we started talking about it at 9.2, which is frankly okay because the whole rest of the market is getting hammered. What's the point? The point is there are components of the market that are not crashing. Okay, yeah, this is just one example, but if there's a component that's not crashing, my argument is it's not a bear market, because in a bear market, everything gets wasted. So this is probably more corrective in nature, using near as evidence. Okay, Polkadot, near and dear to my heart. Wanted 38 and 28 to hold. Neither happened. Support is at 25. Okay, let's hope this doesn't get any worse for fellow Polkadot fans. Now, I'm not a Polkadot maximalist by any stretch. So I had to draw some support points. And unfortunately, I'm coming up with like 19 and a half and 12. All right. I certainly can't even imagine what the world looks like if Polkadot is at 12. But my job is to draw on charts to come up with levels that will help you. Right. So 25 is a big support point. And that is the market update. All right. Now for our next segment, I believe we are going to go over to Forrest, and he is going to give us his wisdom to help you through these difficult times.
Thanks, Bill. All right. So the first chart that I want to dive into, and I want to make sure I'm shared. Yep, I'm shared. I want to just take a look at total crypto market cap, and I just want to show you this interesting fractal because when the market's down 30%, and this is total cryptocurrency market cap, so this just represents the overall total, all the money in crypto. It's the entire crypto market. And you can see right now this correction is overall down about 29-30% from our all-time high. Right now, let's just go back to 2017, about halfway through this bull run, right before most of the gains occurred, most of the big gains occurred. Right, what happened? Well, first we had a 47% correction. Right, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks later, after making a new all-time high, we had a 45% correction. Right, so extreme volatility, extreme whiplash. All of that was creating this ascending wedge pattern. If you don't know a ton about patterns or technical analysis, and to be quite honest, I'm not the biggest pattern trader in the world, but they're usually correct. They're correct more often than they're not, which is why people trade off of them. This is known as a bearish ascending wedge. This is an extremely bearish pattern. Yet what happened? It ripped up to new all-time highs, right? So we had extreme volatility and we had a bearish pattern on total cryptocurrency market cap, yet the market just goes parabolic, right? So bull markets will try to do everything in their power to completely shake you out, and they don't always make sense. And they're extremely volatile in nature, right? Imagine going through 2 back-to-back nearly 50% corrections and not getting shaken out. And if you didn't get shaken out here and you still stayed in despite the fact that there was a massive bearish ascending wedge, you were rewarded with a parabolic blow off top that basically from the bottom of these dips where we could potentially be buying now, right, was 7 to 10x returns, 7 to 10x returns, 7 to 12x if you want to be exact. I also want to show you this fractal pattern before we jump into specific levels. And fractals don't always play out, but oftentimes price action will move in similar ways, right? We have a very similar fractal playing out to right now to where we were, what we saw back in 2017 before we went parabolic. 2 back-to-back big crashes, although these ones have been less severe, right? These have been more in the 30 to 40% range versus the 45% and higher range, which just tells us we're seeing extreme market volatility. And that's something that we do see before parabolic run-up. The other thing I'll say is that most of the time when you get a big market top that takes a long time to recover from, or just even a market cycle top, within a few 4 or 5 bars, you're down like 60, 70%. Like 60, 70% right after the top, right? Even in our previous top in this market cycle, we were down 49% within 2 bars, within 2 weeks, right? If we go back to this previous market cycle back in 2013, we were down 64% in 3 weeks. Right? We're 5 weeks into this correction and we're only down 30%. And that's not to say that this couldn't have been the market cycle peak, but it is to say that people aren't really panic selling or getting liquidated, right? This is a 30% correction. It's absolutely brutal to watch your portfolio dip. It's very scary, but it's not like what we've seen in the past where 2 bars in, 2 weeks in, we're down over 50%. And usually that's more of a top signal. So with all of that in mind, I want to talk about some specific levels that I'm personally looking to buy crypto at on these dips. Now, this is a very busy chart, and all of these lines do mean something to me. I'm not going to explain all of them. What I am going to give you is I'm going to give you 3 support levels. 3 support levels. So pay attention and listen closely because I know it's a messy chart and I want to point these out to you. The first support level is actually 46K and we've already bounced off of it. We already bounced off of it today. We're capitulating really hard. And I do believe that even in the short term today, we should see some sort of a bounce, right? If we zoom into the 4 hour, we've got this local, these lower highs, right? And we've got kind of these lower lows going on. I think 46K, there's a really strong chance that this is going to be our local low and we should pop back up in the short term. Now, whether we go to make another lower low and continue further down, or we make a lower high rather, or if we make a higher high, come up to retest this level and get back on top of it and go up from here is still unclear. We've got to let the data print. We've got to let the candles print. We've got to figure that out. Regardless, I do think this market absolutely can go lower. I'm not saying it will go lower. It absolutely can go lower, and I'm going to be prepared for it if it does. So I do think there's going to be a bounce today at 46K. We're already starting to see the bleed off slow down around 46K. That's because the incentive to short Bitcoin on 3x leverage has dried up after it drops below 46K. So I think the sell pressure, we're going to get a little bit of relief in the sell pressure. Also, we've had some pretty strong support around 47K in the past. Now, we have broken out of this level, right, out of this consolidation and below our 47K line. So that is, to be quite honest, bearish. I do think we'll get a little bounce here regardless, though. So the first support level for Bitcoin is 46K. The second support level is not actually a margin pressure level, but it is a very big level that we've seen be resistance and support in the past. And that's 42K. That's where we peaked at back in January before we got a bit of a correction followed by a big altcoin run, right? We initially found some support there after our big correction. That was kind of the level that sparked, right? Nobody thought we'd come down below 42K. And as soon as we broke below 42K back here in May, that's what really sparked this runoff of liquidations, and the price popped right back up. It was extremely volatile, popped right back up from 30K back up to 42K to retest before getting resistance at 42K. We also had resistance at 42K back in August, right? Some consolidation on 42K above and below, chopping above and below 42K in September. And our most recent flash crash down the other day at the beginning, 4th of December, actually came down to exactly 42K, right? So that's my next buy level and support level for Bitcoin. And then if we get the full 50% correction, and you really want to take advantage of these 50% corrections, we're looking at 34,500, right? 50% off of our 69K all-time high. And this is an absolute buy level, no questions about it. And I'm not going to walk through too much strategy here, but the idea behind buying this level, if we just bleed out to 34,500, is you can buy at 34,500, sell the retest, and just you take a nice chunk of profits with you into a bear market if we do go into one, or if we run back up, you have a nice entry point down here at 34.5K, right? So on to Ethereum. My levels to watch out for Ethereum, I've been talking about this for the last several weeks now. 4K major support. I stand by anybody who decided to buy at $4,000. Now, I personally, I bought at $4,000, and I actually sold up here at our previous all-time high because I got spooked. I got spooked on now my long-term, let me be clear, my long-term Ethereum position I'm still holding, but just my leverage trading Ethereum positions. I got spooked because of this bearish ascending wedge, right? We just talked about this on total cryptocurrency market cap. We had this bearish ascending wedge form. I believe I talked about it last week on the live stream, and I know for sure I talked about it on Crypto Foresights, I believe. So, yeah, we saw ETH Bitcoin degrade, which is a bearish sign overall for ETH. So I exited my long ETH position in terms of leverage, and I'm looking to rebuy at $3,400. Now, there is some key support here at around 36 and 37, really 35, 36, and 3,700, right? We've got strong support all up in this region for Ethereum, but I'm not going to force this buy anywhere above $3,400, right? So I want to see ETH come down to $3,400, which is our 2x long level off of our support down here of 1,700, right? Next, my second support level is 2880. Why 2880? Well, you can see just structurally that it was a very key resistance level back here in June over the summer, right? And again, it was a key support level back here. And then we consolidated on this level back in September, right? But if we zoom out even further, right, and we go all the way back in time, if it'll let me on the 4 hour, it might not let me on the 4 hour. Let's switch to the daily chart. You can see our previous all-time high was 1440, right? The 2x of that, right, projects support and resistance to 2880, right? 2880. Right, so that's the point at which you can, 1440 is major resistance, because that was our previous, or major support rather, our previous all-time high back from 2017, 2018, right? And this level actually projects up support to 2880, right? So 2880, big level to buy on. And then we also have all of this nice support at 2652 from our previous local low that you could buy on, as well as 2550, which is our 3x long level off of 1700, right? So you have three really strong levels to buy on. To recap, $3,400 is the first line of support. I really think that Ethereum can actually hold this. This would be within the bounds of this expanding volatility pattern that we're seeing, right? Which is due to just the market's confused. The market's really confused. Half the market believes that ETH is ridiculously undervalued based on what's happening with the supply, EIP 1559, just burning a ton of ETH. The net issuance of ETH has dropped dramatically. And you have the other half of the market that's like really scared of the Fed tapering and crashing all markets. So what do? You just get this really expanding volatility choppiness where the market doesn't know where to price ETH. And if we are ready to take advantage of this, we can buy from the bears down here at 3,400. And if they really take it low, we can scoop some dips as low as potentially 2,550. So those are the levels I'm watching for: 2,550, 2,880, 3,400, right? How you go about structuring your buys there is totally up to you. Luna, again, like I talked about with Bitcoin already bouncing at 46K, Luna already bouncing off of one of its first key support levels. So 52.27, that is a key level for Luna off of its recent all-time high. Now, these margin pressure levels have been fantastically accurate for Luna very recently. I calculated this 37.87 level off of our recent previous all-time high. I got in at $39, rode it all the way up to 78. I took profits at 75 because that was the 2x long margin pressure level. And what do you know? We've already corrected back down to 52.27. I bought more Luna here. I compounded my position today. So I took 50% off the table here, took my profits, and then I put it back in, or some of it back in at 52.27, expecting some sort of a bounce here in the short term. If we do break down below, I think $39 is a very strong buy level. It's a very strong buy level, very strong support level, because not only was it our previous support over here, but we also have the 2x, 50% correction, 2x short level here, where you see the sell pressure really start to dissipate as we move down past $39, right? And worst case scenario kind of deal for Luna, you want to be able to snag it here on its previous high and previous support levels down here at 22.65, right? If it really crashed, be ready to buy here. Go, not financial advice, but start scrounging together some change from under the couch, and buy a couple Luna at $22.65. Matic, not financial advice there. All right, Matic. Again, I'm still in my Matic trade for my entry down here at $1.50, just calculating off of this most recent high of $2.58, not the all-time high. All-time high was up here at 271. We didn't quite get there before the market started to get bearish, right? Again, just like Ethereum, we're seeing expanding volatility, except for this expanding volatility is winding up upwards, right? We're still seeing higher lows and higher highs. This is very, very good sign. I think if Ethereum can recover here and head back up above $4,000, we could absolutely see Matic rip up to its previous all-time high, which would be very bullish, right? So Matic has support at $1.72. Hasn't quite gotten there yet. It might not get there. We've got very, very strong support here as well, just structurally, right? We had a ton of support in this region, right? But I'm not jumping into this prematurely, right? If you miss it, you miss it. But I want to make people give me their Matic, give me their altcoins at a cheap price. I don't want to be somebody that's going to pay too much for Matic, even if it's just a couple cents over, right? $1. You might be thinking, what's the difference between $1.72 and $1.81? If we're expecting a bounce here, should I just get in at $1.81? It makes a big difference when you talk about all of your positions over the lifespan of your crypto journey, right? So be a little bit stingy here. I'm not touching this for anything more than $1.72, right? And if we see it degrade further below, our 2x short level all the way down here is at $1.24. So $1.24 is a really nice scoop, in my opinion, for Matic if we see it degrade. Now, we already are starting to get a bounce on a key margin pressure level of $8.81 for Near protocol. And I will just mention, notice how Near and Luna came down to their margin pressure levels already and bounced. One thing about Matic is when it doesn't quite get there, and you're seeing a bunch of other altcoins get to their margin pressure levels, but then Matic doesn't get there, that to me is a bullish sign for Matic. Right? That is a bullish sign for Matic. Solana did this before it ripped up, right? It should have come down to a 2x short level and it stopped a few percent short and then it just ripped up while everything else was hitting their levels, right? So Matic to me actually looks pretty bullish despite the fact that it is down. It is down quite a bit. It's down 32% from its recent high. Still, compared to other stuff, Matic seems to be holding up a little bit better. Could be that it's just a little bit more correlated to Ethereum being a layer 2 EVM compatible smart contract network. All right, so Near protocol, we ripped up off of our previous margin pressure level at $6.30. That would have given you a phenomenal entry point. We had some resistance, right? Some previous resistance here in the $8 to $9 range, right? Didn't quite make it all the way up but we are starting to get a bounce here at our 2x short level of $8.81. I know it's a little bit sloppy here. I hope you guys can see that. All right, two more for you guys. Sandbox entry points between $4.03 and $4.25. I absolutely expect a bounce here. Does that mean we're going to bounce and go up to all-time highs? Not necessarily, right? I hope so. I do think that the crypto market could absolutely go parabolic even after recovering from a 30% dip. But I do expect at least some sort of a bounce here, whether it's just a little small bounce back up to our previous resistance, so up here at $5.70, or if a retest of our all-time high, but some sort of a bounce here in the short term at $4, between $4 and $4.25. There's two really strong margin pressure levels here. Not only that, but that is exactly where we started to see the buys come in on December 4th when we crashed. The buys were sitting down here at $4.25. So absolutely some good entry points at $4 for Sandbox. Last one before I kick it back over to Bill. And I think we'll be doing Crypto Showdown before we go into Altcoin Overtime. Avax. So Avax topped out at $147. I was very fortunate enough to get an entry down here at like $65. And I actually sold my Avax long position at about 143. I didn't get the timing perfect. And I did jump in and out a few times here. But overall, $147 was a nice resistance level. And off of this resistance level, this all-time high, we're going to see some support play in here at $73.50. Now, we are seeing Avax come in and make support multiple times, just like Matic, not coming quite down to its margin pressure level, right? We're seeing Avax build support above its margin pressure level. So Avax does look bullish here in comparison to some of these other altcoins, right? It has not wanted to dip. It's finding the support above the level that it should be finding support at. So Avax does look good here. But again, I'm not going to jump in prematurely. I want to get it for $73.50 if I'm going to get it, right? Then another level, our 2x long level, 64.46, and that's projected off of our previous low down here, right? So if you can buy between 60 and 70, 64 and $73, right, within this window, I would expect you to be able to be somewhat profitable, at least in the short term. You should be able to catch some sort of a bounce in this area, right? And if we do go back into a parabolic run up, right, you have a fantastic entry point down here towards the bottom. All right, those are the levels that I'm looking out for. Those are the levels that I'll be buying if I haven't bought them already, right? Luna, I already got in, I believe, at 54 and 52, right? So that trade's already starting to look pretty decent, starting to get a little bit of a bounce here. All right, let's jump into Crypto Showdown before we go over to Bill with Altcoin Overtime. I've got to go back to Crypto Showdown. There we go. All right, so our three altcoins were Polygon, Matic, Terra Luna, or Ethereum. Let us know by going to www.menti.com and using the code above 1277480 what you believe is the best altcoin dip to buy here in December. Bill, what's your take on this?
Well, your presentation about Matic is compelling, and we understand that Matic is becoming very popular on our website. So I think I'll deviate from the usual opportunity to say that spot ETH is the way to go and just try Matic for today.
Nice. So normally I'm tempted to say spot ETH too, but I'm gonna be a little bit greedy here, and I'm also gonna be confirmation biased, right? So I am gonna be greedy because I do think ETH is the safest thing. Like you said, spot ETH. When in doubt, just spot ETH. That should be like just hodl spot ETH, right? You don't even have to worry about a stop loss. Yes, it could come crashing down, but we would expect it to bounce back in future bull markets, right? So I'm very tempted to say spot ETH too. I'm going to be a little bit greedy, and just because you said Polygon, I'm going to go with Terra. I'm also just going to be a little bit biased here because my order did fill at $52 for Terra, so I do want to see it go back up. So I'm gonna say Terra Luna. So I think you can make a strong case for any of these three though. And the winner is, Let's see here. Polygon Matic. Nice pick, Bill. All right. And with that, let's go into altcoin overtime.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, altcoin overtime with an emphasis on shopping if this gets ridiculous. Now, let's talk about Decentraland Mana. We've got 2 arrows with 2 yellow boxes. Okay, first they stopped out the bulls, okay, on a move below $3.40. Then it went up. Bulls thought they had the advantage. Everything was fine. Boom. They come down. They stop everybody out. So they stopped out the bears on the rally Saturday, and then they stopped out the bulls today. Okay. There's a triangular pattern in Decentraland. So it's either going to hang out right around, say $3.30 or $3.40. That'd be just fine with me. If it wicks down, it could be $2.50 where you get this, right? Is that a prediction? No. But I think if you got like a pen and paper, or if you're watching this video and you want to say, all right, if this thing, collapses, where do I want to get it? Conversely, you want to say to yourself, look, $3.40, $3.30, it actually held, right? Take what Forrest said about Luna and move it out here, okay? So you have a level where you'd want to buy if it went lower, but you also have a level where it's hanging out after kind of everyone's been stopped out, right? A lot of times when people get discouraged, that's when you should get encouraged. Sandbox, similar, right? It keeps making these, it's an intraday chart. The last chart was an intraday chart, 4 hours. So, a month from now, it'll be different. But with Sandbox, it was time to get out at 8, and it may be time to get in at 4, not investment advice, right? You've got like a hack in one of the metaverse protocols. And if there's kind of like a give up trade at or around this Wednesday FOMC announcement, that could be an opportunity to look at Sandbox. Because what does the metaverse have to do with inflation, the Fed, and interest rates? Well, not much. It's a risky asset that can get killed with all the other risky assets. But that said, you're looking at stuff 50 and 60% off their high. It's worth a look, right? It's worth a look. In other words, if you were going to go shopping in the metaverse, you don't want to go shopping after it re-X's. You want to go shopping when they're hitting it and there's despair in the market. Okay, Sol, I know we got a lot of people tracking this. Amazing rally over the weekend, unwinds today. So if it gets stuck around $2.21, that would be a good scenario. Allow the bulls to come back in and take charge. So right now, this chart's okay. Now, if something ridiculous happens, it could be $1.75 or $1.11 if something ridiculous happens. Let's hope it doesn't. Okay, Cardano. Now, this has got to be the house of pain for a lot of people. This is a weekly chart. So I'm noticing that Cardano, this is like the 3rd time down to this point, and there's support at $1.18. So this is where the market bottomed back in July. So remember, Cardano is actually ahead of other cryptos in terms of its bear market, right? Or its correction, right? Cardano is back where it was in July, right? That means it has, really unwound a lot of upside. So if something's going to hold, Forrest talked about Luna. If the market holds here, it's probably going to be Avax, ETH, and maybe Cardano that give the market some stability, maybe along with Bitcoin. Okay. Conversely, flip it around. So the good news is Cardano should hold, and the bad news is it better. So if you're married to a position and you're going to lose the rent money in Cardano, you want to pay attention to what happens near $1.18. But right now, it's on support, and even though it doesn't feel okay, it's okay on the chart. Just be careful of what happens if support breaks, okay? Because I know there's a lot of people out there that got into this via YouTube. So the bottom line on Cardano is support is holding, fingers crossed. XRP, same type of situation, okay, where a lot of people got involved in this. Okay, it has exited the range it's traded in August, and now it's below a key support at 80 cents. So I'm not getting involved in XRP until it demonstrates it can get back into the range from 87 cents. Now, if the market turns into a mess, like I said, you have to be careful in Cardano. Cardano has a much better fundamental situation than XRP, which is involved in legal and regulatory problems. Okay. Sometimes, just as a general lecture, not investment advice, if you did a bad trade, it's okay to say, you know what? I did a bad trade. There's a difference between puking your portfolio and rage quitting on Twitter and saying, you know what? This wasn't the right trade for the right reason. So if you're in XRP, make sure you're in it for the right reason. Make sure you take a look at chart points around 80 cents. Now, Cosmos, interesting support at $21. Okay, I really would like to see this hold. This reminds me of Forrest's work about Luna. Okay, this could be a good opportunity. I mean, this coin was at 44. So this is a large cap Coinbase alt that does interoperability that's, it's lost half of its value versus September. So if 21 holds, great. If it doesn't, it may go to a Gann line at 17, which, oh, by the way, that same Gann line was the takeoff point in August for the move from 17 to 44. So if there's a panic, that Gann line, I would expect it to continue to hold. So what we're trying to give you is shopping levels based on technical theory and things that worked in the previous bottom. Let's hope 21 holds. Now, I saw people commenting on Elrond in the chat. This is a totally unbelievable chart that contains many lessons. When something goes from 320 to 520, even though it looks like it's going to go to the moon, it actually hit a Gann point above resistance at 526. This is now back down around 230, and I'm showing support at 178. So this is probably washed out, losing almost half its value. If a crash happens, you can get it back where it was in October when the rally started. So there's a case, as Forrest will tell you over and over, a lot of times the crypto market looks like it's left without you, but it hasn't, right? You can take profits if you're long, or if you missed it, it can give you an opportunity to get back in, possibly for an even bigger rally. So if you believe in Elrond, fundamentally, this is not the time to stop believing in Elrond. It's time to grab a chart and say, all right, what are the chart points? Well, it held at 230 something last time. And then below that, if there's something ridiculous happens, there's 178 below the market. My point in Luna, okay, in the event of some sort of dislocation, is 45. Okay, that's like the bargain basement price. Forrest is probably right based on the fact that, like the DeFi universe is getting hammered, and it's almost like Luna is like the big winner in DeFi because other coins are such, I don't know, dare I say, big losers. Now, in the event of a calamity, I'm looking at 45. I'd love to see it be stable at 53 because that means we don't have to do another stream or another market update where we go, all right, well, if a disaster happens, ... We prefer to say, okay, this is your shopping list. Here are some levels. Uniswap, speaking of DeFi 1.0, if there is a capitulation, okay, $11.81 is the level I'm looking at in Uniswap. Now, if $11.81 holds, great. If the worst sector stabilizes, then the market will stabilize. But if $11.81 does not hold in Uniswap and the DeFi perp futures contract continues to go down, okay, that contains coins like Compound, Maker, Rari governance token, Ren, all the big DeFi coins that you've had for the last year and a half. So if $11.84 a Uniswap holds, great. If it doesn't, get out of the way in DeFi and wait to see if this market can wick down and give you an opportunity to get involved. Now, speaking of the pain of corrective activity, Gala, right, looked phenomenal over the weekend. Takes out 55 cents, right? It was consolidating just below that resistance. Looks like it's going to the moon, and then it turns around and kills everybody today. So hopefully Gala is trading in a range between 45 cents and 65 cents, and that's all that there is. Now, if there's a I don't know. If there's a dislocation, that's a legacy term, right? It may wind up at 35 cents. Okay, that's not a prediction. That's a support level in case everybody who's FOMOing in at the top panic sells and drives it lower, in case ETH goes to 3,400, right? So if you're into these metaverse coins, you want to make sure you know what are the key chart points. Somebody was commenting in the chat that this could be an opportunity to look at KDA, right? There was support around, a little below 10, all right? It's been hanging out down there for like 6 or 7 days, and today it's breaking through. So if it comes back above 10, awesome. If it doesn't, support is at 6, right? So if you're a KDA fan and you want to shop, okay, 6 is a chart point to keep in mind. Cube, something that I liked based on the fact that it had kind of a sideways consolidation formation, like you in your positions, is scaring me a little bit. So I'm looking at 11 in Cube as an important level that's just simply got to hold. And that, friends, is Altcoin Overtime.
All right, thank you, Bill. Let's segue into a little quick Q&A through Menti. We've got about 4 or 5 questions we could answer. So the first one is going to be Nano, which I know Forrest likes. Is this still on his shopping list and worth a dip buy? Yeah, Nano's my largest position. I'll show you the chart. I'll share my screen here. I'll show you the chart for Nano. I think that Nano is actually a really strong buy coming up towards a very, very long-term trend level, right? You know how big I am on buying on the support line, buying on the trend line. Historically, these have been the best times to buy Nano. Of course, if you got in at the Genesis back in April of 2017 at under 1/10 of a cent, that was a fantastic time to buy, right? But now we're nearing this long-term support level, this long-term trend line, $3.50. We're also at a nice horizontal resistance coming up. And we've also got some nice margin pressure levels here around $3.30 or so. So I think Nano at about $3.30 is a definite buy for me. I've been continuing to average in this downtrend, right? As we've consolidated down here, I've been continuing to average into this position. And this isn't something that I'm looking for a return on in the short term. This is something that I believe in what they're building. I believe in their goals. I think the team is absolutely fantastic. They've got very good progress in terms of integrations and partnerships coming up. I think the tech is incredible, and it's something that I plan on holding for multiple years. And yeah, does it suck in the short term to watch Nano kind of just consolidate while a lot of other altcoins have been mooning and making new all-time highs? Yeah, sure, there is some opportunity costs involved with that, but I sleep very, very soundly at night while I'm invested in Nano, and I have absolutely no desire to sell unless the project's fundamentals changed. And as far as I've been following, the fundamentals have actually only gotten better over the last several years, and especially in the last couple of months. So not to go on about Nano there, but yeah, big fan. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. We're going to go back to Q&A. To what extent do you believe metaverse coins have affected the extreme low prices of DeFi and other crypto tokens? Yeah, I mean, so we started out with DeFi being the big market cycle narrative at the beginning of this market cycle, and now recently it's been metaverse. Metaverse stuff is kind of in a dip along with the rest of the market right now. But yeah, what people seem to be taking their money out of DeFi 1.0, stuff like Uniswap, stuff like SushiSwap, and they're putting it into these more speculative plays that have potentially very, very large use cases, and that's metaverse. We could very easily see the same thing happen with whatever the next cycle is, but you have to understand that this market cycle and these bull markets are driven heavily by speculation, and speculative investors seem to have moved on from DeFi, right, and into metaverse stuff. We can see this money cycle back into DeFi if there's some advancements in DeFi technology. If Uniswap comes out with Uniswap version 4, right now they're on version 3, and they can figure out how to make gas fees extremely low and become more efficient, maybe that'll attract back speculative investors. Is there enough time between now and the end of year for a parabolic move? If not, how far into 2022? Between now and the end of the year, I think we could get a parabolic move started towards the end of December, but I think it's completely realistic. I don't think that the end of the year is just some deadline for which we go into a bear market. Like, I don't think as soon as January 1st rolls around, everybody's going to just start selling off at a really rapid pace. In fact, last year, or this past year, 2021, was quite the opposite. The bull market really kicked off in December. I think we could actually see something similar in terms of a parabolic rally if this volatility resolves itself. Right, we're seeing some really big dip buying opportunities, some downside volatility. If the bulls come in and they double down on crypto and they say crypto's the future, I think we could start to really see some speculative juices flowing again in this market. 2022 is a new year for taxes as well, which could also affect that. But I don't think we're going to see a parabolic move between now and the end of the year. I think we could start to see some recovery, though, by the end of December. This is a question for Bill. Bill, I'm new. I put in about 10K after getting a better understanding for crypto. I found out I bought almost all tokens at the all-time high. Do you think I should sell on current loss and buy back the dip? Well, before Bill goes, I will say we can't provide financial advice. This is pretty specific to your circumstance, so we can only kind of speak to what we might do in a similar circumstance. But yeah, I'll ask Bill, what do you think?
Okay. If you bought the high or you sold the low, you have something in common with the greatest traders that have ever lived, right? Because that does happen. Now, if you're new to crypto and you have 10,000 and you put it in, and that 10,000 would be like the money you would take to Las Vegas and you can afford to lose it, okay, then I would say that would create one strategy. If you put in 10,000 and you lost half of it, and you cannot personally afford to lose the other half of it, then you can make tax decisions and cut losses. So not investment advice, not tax advice, but you have to ask yourself, can I afford to lose this money? Can I deal with any more heat? And if you have to, sometimes what I do, if I can't answer the question, if I just don't know what to do, I just reduce risk. In crypto, everybody is like, I have to be all the way in or all the way out. You have to adjust your position so that you can sleep at night. Now, that said, that segues into almost like a final point that I would make. Our hope is that this ends after the Fed statement, right? The Fed statement comes out, everybody's sold, everyone freaks out, and then it's over. Could there be a big wick down? Yeah, maybe. But I'm kind of hoping that once the Fed says whatever it's going to say, this is going to end, right? And then that could be the opportunity to say, all right, how does the market trade? That could create a 2-week window to accumulate for a January rally, okay? The question is, how big's the freak out trade? You want to be ready for that mentally and financially. Forrest, back to you.
Yeah, we'll take one more question, and it is a bit of a sad one. Need advice. A friend had his entire portfolio in Badger DAO vault. Now they have locked the vaults due to the hack, and he's not sure if he'll ever get it back. Thoughts? Honestly, that's something that you should probably just be tracking in the Discord group for Badger, maybe following along with their Twitter. Unfortunately, hacks do happen in crypto. There are a few projects that will allow you to provide insurance, such as Armor Finance, I believe. So you can get DeFi insurance or insurance on your holdings. That's always a smart idea. And then always taking, doing as much due diligence as possible. Guys, even good protocols with really, really sound security practices and really, really good smart contract quality still get hacked in this space. It's still very early, and there's a high incentive for hackers to come in and try to hack and steal people's funds. It's just an unfortunate reality that we live in. To be quite honest, and this is really the wrong way to think about it, but a lot of like Bill just kind of talked about, some of the best traders in the world in history have bought the top and sold bottoms, right? It's almost a rite of passage where, like in crypto, if you've been in crypto for long enough, you've probably lost some funds or gotten hacked in some way or another. We're in this space, and it's still very early, and we're still on it. It's undeveloped. There's not a ton of recourse. The best thing that you can do is either get insurance on your vault holdings, or do as much due diligence as possible to try to minimize that risk. But you need to understand, when you invest in this space or you put money in these DeFi protocols, that risk is there. It's literally, there's a name for it. It's called smart contract risk. There's also risk of just being hacked. So this is not a riskless space, and you really, really need to understand that before you jump in, right? It's just, if you want reward, there's no such thing as reward without risk. It's just a cold, hard truth of this space and a reality that we live in, regardless of being in crypto or not. So that's very unfortunate, sad to read, but I hope he gets his funds back. I know Badger DAO is a pretty solid project, so I'm sure they'll come up with some sort of resolution eventually. And that is our final question.
Okay, friends, we definitely appreciate your viewership. We hope that we helped you today. All right. Watch that Fed announcement. Watch for the wick down. If there's no wick down, this could be an opportunity. At the end of the day, right, a choppy December leads to a brighter day in January, right? A brighter day in January. That's going to be our line for the moment. The only question is, how hard, what's the price you have to pay to be there for any next up move, right? Stay tuned with Token Metrics. Okay, we're here every day. I do the market update 5 days a week, and we are definitely here to keep you posted. Because while we want to help you with the crystal ball, with volatility like this, you want to stay tuned, like and subscribe to our channel. Okay, on behalf of my colleague Forrest, this is Bill Noble from Token Metrics signing off. We will see you tomorrow.